Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain.
Well, good evening, all of my coffee beans. Happy Saturday evening, February 28th, and we're going to get started on the Sebastian Rogers case, as well as all the problems Tennessee is having with their child care and child welfare.
I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Come on into the chat, my coffee beans. This is Bullhorn Betty, and we have got a lot to go over in the Sebastian Rogers case, but not just his case. The children in Tennessee are not safe, not even with their child protective services out there. We have a report, and it's going to shock you. beautifuls. My beautifuls. No, I'm just joking. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime. I feel like something's not right here. Why does I feel like I need to go down? I need to go up. Which way do I want to go here? We'll go this way. Hey guys, I'm Bullhorn Betty. We've been covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers since March 16th, 2024. We're not quite up to the 2-year milestone from when we actually started covering this case. And one thing that we have done in the state of Tennessee is cover children. Cover children in horrible homes. Cover children that have been missing for some time. There's been a lot of things that we've noticed in the state of Tennessee for a really long time, and it felt like there were only a few of us screaming from the rooftops about what we were seeing in the state of Tennessee, and this was long before Sebastian Rogers disappeared. This has been going on all over the state. And so when we have Sebastian Rogers and we once again hear that the Department of Children and Family Services were involved in his case before he went missing, it enraged a lot of us. It enraged a lot of us because we knew the atrocities going on in the state of Tennessee. We had already heard about their bed issue, them not having enough beds, them shipping off children to Utah and Arizona, hundreds and thousands of miles away from their families, locking them away from their families, not giving them opportunities to build relationships and reunite with their families like they were supposed to. We've also heard about the SA and ST that went on in those places. We've heard these children being placed with monsters far worse than their parents. It seemed like every time we turned around in the state of Tennessee, they were taking children from good homes or homes that just had some problems that needed a few resources and leaving the most vulnerable in the worst homes. We could never figure it out. We've been reading and advocating for these specific things long before Sebastian ever disappeared in 2024. As a matter of fact, I started seeing the atrocities in the state of Tennessee in 2021 when I took the case of Summer Wells and started working that and realized how many times law enforcement was at their parents' house while they were under the influence of drugs and alcohol and never once reported it to the Department of Children and Family Services. The condition of their home was a hazard to their children. It was a hazard to anybody. Animals shouldn't even have lived there, let alone children. And so it started off with that and realizing that it seems like in the state of Tennessee, time and time again, it took a child missing or coming up dead before they removed other children, before they took child abuse and other things seriously. So now we have been researching this state for well over 5 years. And we keep hearing these things going from bad to worse. Well, finally, somebody has stepped up to the plate. Finally, somebody has decided to help. Finally, somebody is willing to do what it takes to protect children when nobody was willing to do so. And so it was a Tennessee lawmaker that has said pretty much enough is enough. They're tired of dealing with this. Some of these allegations are horrific. They involve drug use. They involve children leaving their homes with younger children and trafficking them. It's gotten really bad. Far worse than I believe any of us could have imagined. So we're going to be going over this. We're going to be going over whatever. You know, this is Bill Lee. He's signed once again something else in office. It's just supposed to help, but it always comes just a tad bit too short. That's why I'm getting sick and tired of even dealing with Bill Lee, Marsha Blackburn, any damn representative in Tennessee. They are not protecting their freaking children. And I'm getting sick and tired of covering these cases. I just want the whole damn system fired, scrapped, and started over, if you want to know the truth. That is where I am at at this moment. Oh, good gracious. So, Let's listen to what this lady has to say, because I got to tell you, it's quite interesting. And what is it? Do I have to? Of course, it's fouled up. It's WSMV. Every time we turn around, something's fouled up about them.
That you wish that someone had.
Okay, well, what is going on here? Hold on a second. Apparently they changed. That's why it wouldn't play. They went ahead and changed. They went ahead and changed it. But either way, here's what. Oh, here it is. It was down one.
State lawmaker has called a federal investigation into Tennessee's Department of Child Services. Afton Bain says she has concerns for children with disabilities and concerns about oversight into allegations involving drugs and sex trafficking. Lauren Lowry joins us live in the studio. Lauren, a lot to get to here. This comes after a 2025 report of the department.
We're going to go over that report.
Let's put it that way. The Tennessee Second Look Commission did that report. They documented several cases involving runaways, trafficking concerns while kids were in state custody, as well as a child admitting to using meth inside a DCS office.
We appreciate you too.
Think about that. So in this case involving the meth, the commission said there was nothing documented about a follow-up investigation to determine whether other children might have been exposed to meth.
So they've got substances. They just, it's just another day at the Department of Children and Family Services in Tennessee. Nothing to see over here. This is the kind of garbage that we have been talking about for 5 stinking years. It took this lawmaker. I mean, no offense. I'm glad the lawmaker is bringing it forward. I'm glad we finally have oversight. But what the hell? We've been screaming this for 5 blessed years. 5. And we still have more kids missing in the state of Tennessee that are most likely dead at the hands of the parents.
In one runaway case, one child ran away 8 different times, but only 2 reports were filed. And in one involving trafficking, the child was not given a forensic interview because she was considered a high flight risk. Commission members questioned whether an interview could have still happened, but at a detention center instead. During a legislative commission hearing this week, Representative Harold Love of Nashville questioned the DCS commissioner about the report's findings. Margie Quinn said those cases date back a few years, and the department has implemented changes to prevent similar things since then. Now, as far as concerns go for children with disabilities, Afton Bain wrote in her request to the Department of Justice that children are sometimes placed in restrictive or non-family settings instead of integrated family-based environments, and that the systemic practices are limiting stability for children with disabilities in state custody. Basically, it's making hard for them because of what's going on. DOJ has not responded yet to her request, but we'll keep following it, Lydia.
Lawmaker.
But you know what? You know what they failed to say here? And this is because we've been in the state of Tennessee so long. There was a time, okay, Tennessee has a law that basically states that you cannot restrain a child, okay? So they have requirements that say they cannot, what is this? Oh, okay, I see what it's doing. I've got something. Sorry about that. That they cannot restrain children. And so if a child is freaking out or whatever, they may have to have a doctor come in and relax that child, but they cannot restrain that child. They cannot put them in restraints. But do you know that they were taking those children and sending them to Arizona and Utah, which allows restraints, even though that child is a Tennessee child? And those places were restraining those child. Not only that, but there was family that wanted to see those children, like grandparents and aunts and uncles, to maintain connection. Just like when you send a grandparent to an assisted living facility, what is recommended? Regular visits to make sure what? That they're not being abused, right? So family, that's not the parents that didn't have the children taken from them. Those family members are still entitled to see their family member. Just because they're removed from mommy and daddy doesn't cut off all the relationship with the entire family. So this is where this stuff comes in, and it's like these family members can't even see these children because they're in Utah, they're in Arizona, and they're not even talking about that here. They're not even talking about what is considered abuse in the state of Tennessee and shipping those children off to Arizona and Utah that use those what Tennessee classifies as abusive tactics, and they're able to use it on those children because they're in those states. They're in Tennessee and they're in Utah. So I'm telling you, this stuff is enough to make your blood boil. Enough to make your blood boil. And then it comes over to Bill Lee. And this is where we start having problems because we've been pushing for 5 years for tougher penalties for the children. If you mess and diddle with children, you go to jail for the rest of your life or the death penalty. They will only do that up to 4 years old. How twisted can a state be where they protect the predator more than a child? And this man, right here, thinks he's doing a great job. I am a Republican and I'm ashamed of the state of Tennessee. Okay? I'm ashamed of the state of Tennessee. Because this seems so widespread across the state, and then you've got the biggest official, the governor, not being tough on crime when it comes to the children of all things. I mean, I think that everybody in the United States of America should want to protect the children. I think that at the end of the day, that is really the name of the game. Protecting the children, allowing the children to have a childhood. You know? And time again, we're seeing this stuff just spill out of the state of Tennessee. Why? I told you guys when we went to Sumner County, this is a culture in Tennessee. It's a sick, twisted culture. Backwoods, hunky-bunk, bullcrap. That's what it is. And I'm not going to sit here and walk lightly, walk on eggshells. We're gonna tell it like it is. There is no point in trying to shovel stuff under the rug. It's not helping anybody. As a matter of fact, it's killing children in Tennessee. So it's time to put everything on the table and figure out how the heck are we going to fix this problem in Tennessee. Tennessee, by far, has the worst problem, in my opinion, in the United States. And let's face it, there's a lot of blue states out there that everybody wants to criticize. But let's face it, California takes nobody cases to court. Tennessee, they tell all of their people out there that you're too backwoods, that you're too dumb. You don't know how to understand a circumstantial case. So we don't trust you. We would rather wait 30 years, right? We would rather wait 30 years when they're half dead and they've lived their entire life. Then we want to make the arrest. That's what Tennessee is known for. Tennessee is known for not bringing, you have to practically kill a child, right? To get a child abuse charge. You can't even get a homicide charge if you hide the body good enough, right? That's the state of Tennessee. That's the Tennessee way. Hey, NorCal, it's nice to see you, love. That's the Tennessee way. And I'm wanting that, do I know that to be the fact? I'm just saying the way I look at it. That's my opinion of the place. And that's a lot of the people's opinion in my audience of the place. Even the people that live in the place. Because at the end of the day, oh, Valley Gal, it's nice to see you. Moved from CA to get away from Newscomb and the likes of Sumner County. Same coin, different side. Yeah. But you know what? I mean, what do you want me to say about California when it comes to children? Yeah, they have like the Ashley Buzzards, right? That did that. I mean, if they had better truancy laws, we would have been able to have something to arrest her on, in all fairness. But outside of that, I mean, look at Trezell and Jacqueline West. They didn't have those babies' bodies, and they filed charges against them, and they took them to court. They had homicide, second degree, but they're in jail for the rest of their lives. That's what I'm talking about. So we can say whatever we want to say, but at the end of the day, Tennessee is failing. When we can say something positive about the I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh here. I try to keep a straight face, but when we can say something, because you guys know that California law sucks. And when we can say something positive about California law, that ain't good for Tennessee, okay? It's just not good for Tennessee. So let's read what Bill Lee has done. He says, anytime a child has to come to Tennessee care, there should be safe homes ready to take them in. Well, there should have been safe homes to take them in since you've been elected. So now, when's Bill Lee up for election? When is Bill Lee term up. The end of 2027. His current term runs through 2026. So he only has a 2-year. He is not eligible to run a third consecutive term. So Bill Lee is out of there. So who's going to take Bill Lee's place? Who's going to take his place? You know what, folks? You folks in Tennessee, you guys have a great opportunity here. Because I'm telling you, 2026 and 2028, this is the time for balls and backbones, okay? That's what's on the ballot. That's what's on the ballot not only in Tennessee, but all over the country. Balls and backbones. If we don't have balls and backbones on the ballot, we ain't voting. There's got to be balls and backbones on the ballot because I'm sick of this. We need people that know how to write law to protect our children. Period. Isn't Marsha running for, oh, good gracious. She ain't going to win. She better not win. She's talking about frickin' farmland. Do you know how many times I've reached out to her? Do you have any clue how many times I've reached out to that lady about Sebastian Rogers' case or the problem they have with children? She's an ostrich. She likes to stick her head in the sand and act like she doesn't know about the child problems in her state. Okay, I used to love Marsha Blackburn. I loved Marsha Blackburn up until Sebastian Rogers' case. I don't want shit to do with her. I want her out of office. I want her out of office. It's time to take the whole state of Tennessee on, folks. If you live in the state of Tennessee, it's time for you to be active. It's time for you to get to know your politicians. And it's time to start putting child advocacy on the ballot. The children are being failed in the state of Tennessee, and we've got to help the state of Tennessee. They are so corrupted in many of these cases. They just do underhanded stuff. I don't get it, but they do. We've witnessed it. Now, is this the whole state or there's some good areas? I'm sure there's some fabulous areas. You know, I'm sure there are some great areas that have cleaned up and don't play this nonsense. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of small communities in the state of Tennessee that are very corrupted and have a good old boy system, maintaining power, giving their friends the contracts. That's cronyism. It's costing them a lot of taxpayer money. Their taxes are going up because of the corruption, cronyism, and everything else that goes along with people being corrupted and in power. So balls and backbones have got to be on the ballot this year. They've got to be. So he's saying that Tennessee is proud among the first state to join President Trump and administration's Children and Family ACF in their A Home for Every Child initiative. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. He hears. He does what he can, and he set up an initiative for this man to join because this man didn't have the backbone to put this together for his state by himself. He had to take, of course, Donald Trump's lead. We're grateful for the Trump administration's leadership to support foster families and caregivers, find more people willing to step forward and make sure children get safety and stability they deserve. Again, thank you so much, President Donald J. Trump. You guys may not like him, but at the end of the day, you know what he's doing? He's protecting our kids. And if we can say attaboy to people like JLR, you know, when he does a good job, we can certainly give applause to President Donald J. Trump when he protects our kids when the state of Tennessee refuses to do so. So we're going to continue to keep pushing for better initiatives. It's sad that we have to have the federal government initiate stuff like this because the states can't figure it out. Okay? Because the feds don't really get a whole lot right? I rather states run stuff except the state of Tennessee and North Carolina. North Carolina is going on the list as well. We're going to start working in North Carolina at some point. Unfortunately, I've bit off more than I can chew with Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida. So we're stopping there for the 2026 elections, okay? That's about as much as I'm going to be able to do for 2026. I am realizing that, you know, we've got a lot of work. I wasn't planning on going after jobs in Tennessee. I really wasn't. You know, I figured that this man would get up there and give a press conference and tell us what the facts are. Because certainly the facts have changed. The stuff that we can have has changed since February 2nd, 2024. But he's a coward. He's corrupted and he's unprofessional. And at the end of the day, his behavior proves those points. Proves those points. So here's the conversation. Here's the article right here. This is why I hate publications. All they do, advertise, advertise, advertise. I know that they suck. I mean, that's why they have to advertise so much. If they would just do a good job, they wouldn't have to do this. Anyways, the Tennessee Second Look Commission, the SLC, conducted its 2025 report, which found an increase in number of children who have suffered repeated incidences of severe abuse, representing the highest number of victims since the commission's inception. Since the commission's inception, folks. You know, I keep trying to tell you guys this stuff was going on. This stuff was going on. This stuff was going on. And everybody kept trying to act like it wasn't going on or acting like it didn't exist and all this other stuff. Children after child in the state of Tennessee. Every child that went missing, every child presumed dead, appeared to have the Department of Children and Family Services involved in the case long before that child went missing. Yet they didn't pull that child from the home. Why? Because they didn't have beds. And it was getting too expensive to send them to Arizona and Utah. Because of money. Because of money. That's why the children didn't survive. Because of money. That's the real reason. That's the real reason. And that's the real reason across the United States. Why all these children are staying in these homes a lot longer than they should. Because it costs too much money to remove them. So they try to monitor them. And then, boop, child goes missing. Oh my gosh, they ran away. Don't know what to say. I don't know why he left. Okay. Yeah. So that's where we are in this. You got to remember, Summer Wells had the Department of Children and Family Services at her house the day before she disappeared. The day before she disappeared. I don't even know when Sebastian had his last Department of Children and Family Services visit. Was it a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months? When was his Department of Children and Family Services visit? The last one before he... I don't know why he left. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding, folks. What do we have here? We have a lot. We have a lot. Let's keep going. Get back to this side. Let me get back to this side. Using data from the Department of Children and Family Services, DSC, taken through 2024, the commission, I'm going to call it the commission. I don't like the SLC. We'll say the commission the commission's aim with its annual report is to ensure that the state is responding appropriately to instances of severe child abuse. How long has this commission been inception? Let's see how long this commission has been inception. Let me just hit here. The act was created, since 2010. So this commission has been in place for 16 years. 16 years. And the problem's gotten worse since its inception. Everybody is failing in the state of Tennessee. 16 years. And it's worse now than it was when they started. So they're spending all this taxpayer money and all this stuff for no results. Zero. Actually, to create even a worse problem. And trust me, think about all the Summer Wells out there. Because in the state of Tennessee, I would think law enforcement are required reporters. That means when you see a child abuse, you must report. How in the hell did the Summer Wells have the cops show up at their house so much and never be reported to the Department of Children and Family Services? Or if they were, by the 5th or 6th or 8th time that they've had law enforcement at their house, why weren't those children removed? Having drunk parents with no walls on their home? The bathroom had no walls. No walls. And you know what they told them? Cover them up. So they stacked 2 dressers up on top of each other. And the Department of Children and Family Services seemed to be okay with that. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. They were okay with it. They were okay with it. The report also found that drug use remains a significant contributor in many of the cases of extreme abuse. Children exposed to drugs made up 28% of all cases of subsequent abuse, and 37% of all combines incidences. SA was cited as the most frequent form of continued abuse, accounting for over half the cases received by DCS and representing 22% of all mistreatment types. So I think that answers our Summer Wells question, does it not? I might answer some other questions, but we're not going to go there. Physical abuse accounted for 9.5% of all combined incidences. This is terrifying. The the commission recommended several steps to mitigate instances. I mean, since they can't get it right, since even the commission can't seem to get it right in 16 years, I'm sure they're going to provide more mitigation instances that still haven't worked and only made the problem a little better. So, while I appreciate this report from SLC or / the commission, I would also like to remind that this commission has only made the situation worse, not better. So what happens now? What happens now? Let's look at this. Let me ask you, now I heard that another creator had went over some of this as a topic. Did she go over this report as well? Just out of curiosity, did she go over this report as well? This is the actual report. Have you guys seen? Let me ask this by ones and twos. Who has seen this official report? 1, you have seen it. 2, you have not. 1, you have seen this report. 2, you have not. 1, you have seen this report. 2, you have not. We have 224 people in chat. If you guys could answer, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, while you're answering in chat, if you can go out there and hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching and you never subscribed to this channel before, please consider subscribing. We're advocates over here. We're very opinionated, but hopefully this is what it takes. We're saving kids. We're trying. We're doing what we can do. And it's tough work. Okay, so a lot of you guys haven't seen it. Okay, that's good. Aw, thank you, Eeyore Blues. Thank you, Love Bug. Thank you, Love Bug. Okay. Wow. Okay, so none of you guys have seen it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Let's go through it. We're going to go through it. I mean, it's 32 pages, right? It's probably a lot of reading, but let's just go through it together and see what we have. I might just jump around on here because I would like to look at this. We got a lot of different information. So let's look at the findings, recommendations, and observations. We'll go back. If you guys want to see this, let me drop this down into let me drop this down into let me just go up here. Let me do it this way. Okay, there we go. If you guys want to read it or go over it, here is the link right there. You guys can hit it now, but save it. But we're going to go over it right now. So let's go over just the findings and recommendations first. I think that's important. I don't want to, bore you guys. Hey, Cooper, let me just go. I haven't even said hi to you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so rude tonight. I'm tired. We got back from BF. Oh, Lady Freedom. Oh, look who we got. We got a lot of, astrology for the mystics. It's nice to see you guys. Oh, wow. We got a few people in here. CISO, it's nice to see you. Pete, streaming of blue skies, sandy beaches. Frank, Michelle, Claudia, NorCal, it's nice to see you. Samantha, Peri, hopefully I'm saying that right. Stargaze, it's nice to see you. True Crime Movement, hello. Oh, Busby, it's nice to see you. Is it Busby? I can't remember. I think it's Busby, but I might be wrong. I remember you. It's nice to hear from you. Aletha, hello. Sad to say I live in Tennessee. I know, but you know what? This is why we do this, is so we can advocate. Now you guys know, the people that are in Tennessee, it's time to start changing our votes. We need to get better representation. This is crap. All right. Green Eyes, it's nice to see you. Faye, Astrology for the Mystic. Cinderella, hello. Melanie, it's nice to see you. Hello. Be Betty fan. DJs, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too, hello. OG, it's nice to see you. Lady Freedom, hello. Riv, it's nice to see you up in the chat, my love. I hope you are doing well. Who else do we have? I think I got most of the people. Sammy, I think I said hi to you, but if I didn't, hello. Randa, Eeyore, it's nice to see you. Deanna, Dina, it's nice to see you. Kathleen, Mama, hello. Deborah, Dina. Oh, I said hi to Dina. Who else? Cheyenne, Sorta Morta, Oma, April, it's nice to see you. Cooper, hello. Crazy Country Gal, it's nice to see you as well. Unicorn, hello. Dizzy. I almost want you to call in so you can tell me. And that's what Aletha had to do. She had to call in and tell me. April, Real Talk, it's nice to see you. Hey, I made a song through an AI app about missing kids. I would love for you to listen to it. Sure, send it over to me. Women's Warrior, it's nice to see you. Okay, guys. Okay. So let's read this. It says, let me make sure it's lined up. Okay, yeah, you guys can pretty much see it behind my head. So in the 2024 audit of Second Look Commission by the Comptroller of the Treasury, observation number 1 recommended that the Commission improve accountability, transparency, and effectiveness by naming specific stakeholders in its annual report, finding and recommendations. The SLC, or I'm going to call it, the Commission has identified responsible entities for each finding. However, in some cases, such as when a finding involves an individual's action, like violating a no contact order, the responsibility may not rest with a single stakeholder. In these situations, the Commission identified the system mostly involved with the individual at the time, while acknowledging that the system may not be solely responsible for the circumstances that led to the finding. That is a bunch of word salad. Did anybody understand a damn thing that said? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why the situation is worse instead of better. What the hell does that mean? Anything after accountability, transparency, and effectiveness was a whole bunch of...
Warning, bullshit alert.
Happy Nana, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too. Oh, Seth, hello. Did anybody understand that? Give me a 1 if you understood that. Give me a 2 if you did not understand a damn thing. I'm a college-educated woman, okay? I would like to repeat that again. I am a college-educated woman. I did graduate from college with honors, okay? And on Dean's List, I was a very good student. I wasn't such a good high school student, but I was a great college student. I was too busy smoking pot in my high school years to think. How I got through college, I don't know. I don't remember. No, I'm just joking. I didn't understand that True Crime Session, it says, I sure did. And Betty hasn't forgotten my name. Oh, yes, too. Yeah, I don't understand it. I'm a college-educated person, and that was gibberish to me. So if it is gibberish to you, don't think you're stupid. You're not stupid. That was some...
That was bullshit.
In one case, members felt the department had taken all reasonable steps and there was likely nothing more it could have done to prevent the child's death. Did they remove the child from the home? So in one case, members felt the department had taken all reasonable steps. So if you took all reasonable steps, why is the child dead? Because reasonable steps would have been removal. Maybe we wouldn't have a dead child. Maybe we wouldn't have a missing Summer Wells. Maybe we wouldn't have a missing Sebastian Rogers. If they did everything they reasonably could do. Just saying. Hey, Benjamin. Who else? Kylie's. It's nice to see you. Tulips. It's nice to see you, love. It's nice to see you. That is some nonsense, isn't it? The strengths. In one case, members felt the department had taken all reasonable steps, and there was likely nothing more it could have done to prevent a child's death. Huh. Wow. I disagree with that. They could have removed the child. I bet you the child would be alive. But once again, day late and a dollar short. A day late and a dollar short. When a child's life is in danger, you remove. In an abundance of caution, you remove. Right? If that child's removed from that house for 24 hours or 72 hours, so what? For a proper investigation that could possibly save a child's life? It might be uncomfortable, but once you do that evaluation for 72 hours, you can make a plan of care, right? Like getting the mom resources. It's always easier if a mom's not abusing a child, they're just having financial problems. It's easier to get them in a home than it is to take a child. It's much cheaper to pay a mom's rent than it is to put a child in the foster care system. But many people would rather pull a child from that home that has a loving mother than to provide them rental assistance. There's problems all over the state of Tennessee and all over the country in those respects alone. So you leave the child with the family that's abusing them, but the mom that can't afford to feed her child is the one that gets them removed. It's disgusting. Members acknowledge the effort the department made to keep the child with their family, including arranging TEIS services in the home, referring them to relative caregiver programs, though they were on a wait list. Members recommended the police for conducting a thorough and effective investigation into the child's death. So the child was on a wait list. The child was not removed. Child was not removed. They worked around the clock to keep that child with that deranged family until that child's death. This is the biggest problem in the state of Tennessee. Right here. That is the biggest problem. So members commended the police for conducting a thorough investigation into the child's death. I blame the system for the child's death. Monsters are going to be monsters, right? When you see a monster and you fail to protect a child, who's the real monster? The one that you see plainly or the one in sheep's clothing? I got so upset when I saw, yeah. Training and education on signs of abuse. Members strongly believe that a mother with a history of substance abuse or substance use and abuse cases arriving at a pediatric visit while incapacitated should have triggered a report. Members identified a need for additional training for pediatrics on recognizing and reporting signs of abuse. I think everybody should be. I mean, if you're a pediatric nurse or doctor or anything, that should be part of your required training. I'm not sure. For example, members emphasize that when a child presents multiple injuries, providers should assess the overall pattern. While individual injuries might seem explainable, taken together, they could indicate abuse. Members emphasize that the need for greater public awareness of TN4 Face P rule, which they don't explain in here, to help identify potentially abusive bruising. For examples, members note that bruising around ears and eyes, potential signs of abuse were overlooked during hospital visits. They felt the child should have received a head CT and skeletal survey. I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this. This is disgusting. So training recommendations. The Second Look Commission recommends an investment in education for all medical professionals. Medical professionals. Don't they have required education, like continuing education they're required to do? Why are we educating medical professionals? That should be part of their required training. They're the medical professional. What about the social worker? When are they going to start talking about the social worker or the lack thereof? In 2025, Tennessee recognized October 1st as Tenn 4-Day, a significant milestone in child abuse awareness. The commission recommends continuing, so they're recognizing this 4-Day, this 10-4-Day event is what they recommend. This commission needs to be fired. I don't like any of this, even this report. I don't really care for it. Members noted the child's autopsy revealed healing rib fractures, which were not addressed in the abuse investigation, linked to the cause of death. This suggested prior abuse. Prior abuse. It's not the medical professionals that need to identify prior abuse. They need to know how to identify prior abuse. But what about the social worker? The social worker. Nothing in here is a recommendation for the actual social worker. It's all the medical professional's fault. It's all the medical professional's fault. So let's look at the legal aspect of this. Members question the threshold of initiating prosecution. And remember, Don Wells and Candace Bly had all three of their children taken away from them after Summer Wells disappeared. And they were never once taken to court for the crimes against their own children. They can take 3 children and put them on the tit of the government, your taxpayer money, in one of the most poorest counties in Tennessee, Hopkins County. And they don't even charge the parents. You should never be allowed to remove a child from a home unless there is criminal conduct. And if there's criminal conduct, you should be required to charge it. There should never be a reason why the state comes in and takes a child and never charges the parents, ever. If they're taking the child, then there's been a crime committed. And if there's been a crime committed by God, that person better be in jail, especially if it's a crime against a child. But once again, Tennessee fails their children. They make a playground for predators of children. They don't protect them. They don't care for them. They say they do. But look at their laws. If you look at their laws, you can see they protect the predators that prey upon these children and never the child. That is the Tennessee way, don't you know? Don't you know? So members questioned the threshold for initiating prosecution, noting that in 2 cases, the same harmful behavior occurred repeatedly without legal action, much like Summer Wells, much like Sebastian Rogers. Members continued to express concern about the lack of prosecution, stating while the statutes are strong, they are not being enforced consistently through legal action. Well, no shit. We've been complaining about that since 2021. It was noted by law enforcement that the victims in human trafficking cases chronologically absconded from the department, making maintain a location difficult. I think it meant maintaining a location. I don't know where they. It seems like a typo. However, during the time frame, she remained at one facility for 8 months with no runaway incidences. And most of those children that do this type of stuff have been royally essayed. Royally essayed. Royally essayed. They need to be giving them counseling and things to help them. Good gracious. Members noted ongoing difficulty in obtaining data on child abuse prosecutions, especially in cases involving it resolved through plea agreements. Through plea agreements. Who the hell, how in the world is prosecutors and the state working out plea agreements with people that abuse children? Again, this is the state of Tennessee not protecting their children. Over and over and over again. 16 years. 16 years of allowing all these children to be abused, AR'd, essayed, murdered. Nothing. And we get a stupid report by this commission that they're even acknowledging that the problem is only exacerbated since they've been provided guidance and recommendations. Clearly, they don't even know what the hell they're doing. It was noted by law enforcement that the victims in human trafficking cases chronically absconded. So they have found 0 recommendations on figuring out how to stop that. According to CCA 37 blah, 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 District Attorney Conference should collaborate with local district attorneys to systematically collect and report data on decisions to pursue or decline prosecution, filing protective investigative team recommendations. No, they should be required to prosecute these cases. Not one person should ever be making a deal with a freaking monster. This should be taken away from these prosecutors. They should, if they see abuse, they must criminally charge. How many children keep being injured by their parents in Tennessee with no justice? With no justice. In several cases reviewed by the commission, strangulation occurred. Members discussed whether strangulation alone should be a factor of severe abuse. It should be. How many children have died because their parents yoked them up? I believe Sebastian might be a victim. I really do. I really do. I'm trying to find out what happened to him. He disappeared. Did Summer Wells also face something like that? I don't know. But sometimes parents just get so enraged, and the next thing they know, it's been a minute and a half, and it's all over. A minute and a half, and it seems like a second, and it's all done. And it's the oh shit factor. Oh shit, what have I done? When hotline calls report a child over the age of 13 SA with an older adult who is not in a caregiver role, those cases are often screened out as not falling under DCS jurisdiction. So them being AR'd by an older man does not fall under Department of Child Services. Do you guys know how messed up the state of Tennessee is? Do you guys have any clue? These are things that we've known for years, and we've been fighting against them. And we're called the bad guys because we have corrupt politicians that like to prey upon kids. And I'm going to say that the politicians are preying upon kids because it's usually their family, like Ronnie Lawson, right? His son diddling with kids at church, while a guy that views some images on the screen in that same county gets 8 years. The sheriff's son that actually physically makes contact with a child gets 6 months in the jail because of his father. That kind of corruption. The corruption like in Sebastian Rogers' case where a sheriff will look the other way for his friends that are funneling millions of dollars in his community through land deals. You know? That kind of corruption. Lots of corruption in the state of Tennessee. And you know who's been paying for it this whole time? The children. Because they think that they can touch our children. They think they can do whatever the hell they want to do with our children. I wonder how many politicians in Tennessee do this to their own child. Because I can't for the life of me figure out how politicians that can make decisions on laws constantly fail the children. It makes you wonder why. It makes you wonder how sick and twisted the politicians are. What are you doing to your children that you seem just fine with a grown man laying down with a child? Please explain to me. Tennessee, Bill Lee, Marsha Blackburn. Please explain it to Bullhorn Betty. Please explain it to me. Because this seems pretty sick. And I can tell you this commission already sucks. They already suck. They're already failing. And not only that, they start out the report. We've been here. This situation has gotten worse since we've been here. Well, it sounds like you're failing at your job too. And it probably is because of all this word salad in these reports. Nobody can make heads or tails of what the hell you're talking about. Exposure to CSAM. Members discussed the lack of restrictions on phones and the children's easy access to harmful materials. Interesting. Why would the state of Tennessee make it easy for children to have access to harmful material? Makes you wonder what those officials are doing with those children. Members raised concern about children's access to pornography, particularly the widespread available step-sibling themed content. Kind of gross. Kind of gross. And they're passing it around like candy in the state of Tennessee and not prosecuting the parents when they find severe abuse. Wow. The commission has reviewed several cases in which the parents permitted or facilitated SA behavior in their child. And they still don't have the laws to protect their children. And this commission has been around 16 years, folks. 16 years. Everybody is failing the children in the state of Tennessee. I'm going to say that here. I'm going to say that every time I get into Tennessee. TBI sucks. Sumner County sucks. Hopkins County sucks. This is a culture in the state of Tennessee where children are on the menu. And if you don't like what is going on in Tennessee, you are the problem. You. We advocate for children. We advocate for strong child welfare laws that are aimed at protecting the children. This is by far the absolute worst state I have ever seen for the children. And people in Tennessee have got to rise up, please. Balls and backbones. Balls and backbones. If you're in Tennessee, we need balls and backbones. Our children need you. Our children need you. I want you guys to read this. We're going to have a better discussion tomorrow. I'm getting a little tired. So here you go. We're going to give you this. I want you guys to read this. I want you guys to read this. That's what I want you to read. I want you to go in there. I want you to pull this report. I want you to read it. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do a live. We're going to do a live probably 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, right? We're going to try to get our 2-hour live in before church. So we're going to be talking about this. And I want you guys to tell me what your most shocking finding is in this report. What is the most shocking finding for you in this report? And folks in Tennessee, if you do not read this report, then you truly want to be ignorant. We can't fix a problem with everybody's head buried in the sand. Okay? I've spent a lot of money in the state of Tennessee over 5 years over these child issues. Lots of money in that state over these child issues. Tens of thousands of dollars in the state of Tennessee over these child issues over the last 5 years. We've spent a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money. These people are ruining children's lives. Ruining them. And they're taking our money and doing it. They are mismanaging these departments. They're mismanaging our funds. They're injuring children. This is corrupt. This is cronyism. You guys have a lot of C's you need to work with and work out in the state of Tennessee. Please, if you're in the state of Tennessee, you have to get involved for the children. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican, because if we're all on the same side, you need to be in your departments, in your areas, doing what you can for the children. If we can unite on anything, it'll be the children. These children need all of us. The state of Tennessee is failing them more than any other state in the United States of America right now. And when you hear that you can have death for R-ing a 4-year-old but not a 5-year-old, we got some serious problems in the state, and that's the newest law that they've enacted. This place is a freaking joke. It is a joke. So anyways, guys, take that with what you want to, but it is time. And you know what? You brought up Soto, and you're right. The Soto case was here in Florida. I want you guys to remember one thing. We had 2 cases that broke off that became national interest pieces, okay? And they both happened on February 26, 2024. One right here in Florida in Orlando, Orange County, Osceola County, and that was Madeline Soto. And then we had Sebastian Rogers. Do you know Madeline Soto's case was resolved in 3 days? We're still waiting to resolve Sebastian Rogers' case. Both very similar cases, both very similar circumstances. Very, very similar. If you break down the case, if you take certain aspects out and you look at the case, you've got same here. That's what I'm talking about. Florida knows what the hell they're doing. Tennessee, you all need to be fired. Fired. TBI, fired. Everything, top down, fired, gone, start over. These people don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're driving your state into the ground, and you're not going to care until it's knocking on your door. And guess what? I'm pretty sure, no offense, Seth, I'm pretty sure Seth was getting along, right? Getting on to get along, right? Getting off to get on, whatever that case may be, until it started knocking on his front door, and now he's having to deal with what he wasn't even aware of. Well, let me tell you guys something. Tennessee is dangerous. At the end of the day, no matter how you look at this, Tennessee is dangerous, and they're not protecting your children. It went from a beautiful family state to predator grounds, and nobody is doing anything about it. And anybody that raises awareness and points out the obvious are condemned, and it's covered up by the damn media out there. Everybody. I agree. I agree with the Jen being charged. Sorry, it popped up on me right when I was about to agree with you. But yeah, I agree. Jen Soto, at first I didn't want to acknowledge it because, I had some people talk to me about them never telling their mom, because this wasn't the first case of, like trafficking type things. So I had a trafficking advocate that I actually spoke with during the Miranda Rosa case. And so hearing a lot of their stories, I didn't think that Jennifer knew, because I figured her daughter would keep it away from her mom like many of these other ladies did. But by the time this started proceeding and we started learning more information and we started seeing some of those videos come out, some of those investigative videos like the interrogations and stuff, it was pretty clear that she had an idea something was happening and looked the other way. And she never even fought her ex-husband for the cremation, the ashes of her daughter. She is a sick puppy. But you know what? She's a drug addict. She was on all that Adderall crap. She's going to end up putting herself into a very, a slow grave. I guarantee she'll never be right. She's going to end up being a drug addict the rest of her life. She's going to let this thing drag her down. And, rightfully so. She deserves that pain for what she caused her daughter. That's just my opinion. She could repent, right? Doesn't sound like she has yet. She could tell the world the truth of what happened and what she knew. But she has chosen to keep quiet. It boils my blood too. But, there's no other, outside of this particular case, I've never had a case where we had 2 similar cases that happened literally on the same day at about the same time. And one was resolved in the state of Florida in 3 days, and the other one is still going on. And it's because you guys have hunky bunk sheriffs out there that like stroking their penis more than they actually like thinking. And there's your Eric Craddock, Mr. Snuggle Struggles. All right, guys, we'll rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And let's not forget to pray for Sebastian. And I would say pray for the sheriff, but I don't like him. I don't like him. Do what you will. I've given up on the sheriff. I've given up on the sheriff. I don't think any good will come from the sheriff. I've truly given up on the sheriff. I just want to take away his job. That's my only goal. That's my only focus. That is literally what I'm going to eat, drink, and sleep, is taking Eric Craddock off of his little pedestal. I want to make sure he's brought down to size after the next election. I want to make sure they realize they do not have to put up with this, and they can do something about keeping their family and their community safe. And it starts with voting him out of office and putting a real sheriff in office. I like McCoy. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to support. Like I said, we'll do financially. We'll find you money. We'll find you, if you don't know anything about campaign managing, setting up websites, we'll get you done. We'll get you taken care of. Whoever wants to go after Eric Craddock's position, we will give them support. We will give them guidance. We will give them the best of the best professionals that are in the industry. We will get them pushed through. I will tell you that. We will do campaigning. We will do door knocking. We will do phone banking. We will do whatever it takes to get Eric Craddock out of office, because we know that is step one to getting Sebastian Rogers' case solved. He's got to go. He's got to go. The only way we're going to get Sebastian's case solved is to move Eric Craddock out of office. We need to get an officer there that is committed to either setting up somebody to reinvestigate this case or handing it off to the FBI. That has got to be the decision. Whoever we're going to support has to make that commitment, that they will investigate this or hand it over to the FBI. I would prefer just them handing it over to the FBI, but I am willing to give another sheriff at least a bite at the apple before it is no longer viable for us to continue to have Sumner County investigate. I don't think Brandon Carter has what it takes. No offense. I've seen he to me seems like a dipshit. Okay? He seems like a dipshit to me. And I'm saying that rudely because I want to be impactful. I do not like people that dick around with children's cases. And to me, he could have come out and said he has done forensics and that they've impounded cars. Everything's under seal. They won't let us see anything, and they won't tell us what has changed since April 2nd. They're garbage. They don't care about this community. They damn sure don't care about this boy, and I don't ever think they're going to solve this case. I don't think they've got what it takes. It's time for them to step aside and hand it to the FBI. That is our message. That is what we support here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. We're going to continue to say that until we find the right sheriff that is going to allow this case to move to the FBI so it can be solved. His department does not have the knowledge to do it. They've contaminated the crime scene. They effed it all up. We know they did because we know how many people were inside that house. They John Benet Ramsey this damn case because they're too freaking stupid to follow simple directives. Simple. You turn the house into a crime scene, dum-dums. It's not that hard. You have a missing child. Until that child's found, everybody gets the hell out of the house. Flip's sake. Anyways, my blood's boiling. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. My blood will be boiling tomorrow, too. But that's why you love Betty. All right, there you go. God bless you. Now get out of my sight. Just joking. Love you.